All right, YouTube, it's me, Austin, and we're fired up, locked in, and ready to talk about my favorite alt-right flubster, lolcow, Styx Hexenhammer 666, and with some breaking developments in his story. It would appear that Styx went to jail again back on March 24th, 2025. This would make this the second time within 1 year that he's been in jail. This is a continuation from a previous case that was actually in Louisiana. We knew he got re-locked up this recently here in Vermont. So it kind of gives us some context clues as to where this is going. But basically back in like late September or early October of 2024, Styx went to go visit someone that I guess he was pursuing kind of a relationship with, it would seem. Either that or maybe just trying to, get lucky, as some would say. But it would appear that that took a nasty downfall. The whole undertone of it seemed really sketchy and weird. We have evidence that it was getting weird from the horse's mouth itself, as he decided to put up on his live stream there and stream that night at that lady's house or wherever the meeting point was, and creepishly groped her at some points, to which she visibly looked uncomfortable. So my only thought there is some weird shit happened. She said fuck off, and then now we're sitting with, in October 4th, I think, 2024, slapped with domestic violence first offense charge in the state of Louisiana. And that he wasn't able to get himself out of jail. Didn't look like he had anyone to get him out of jail until the quartering went ahead and posted his bond or his bail money. But it doesn't look like that was the case this time. We know it's impossible for the quartering to do that now. It would appear that the quartering has pretty much gone bankrupt and had to liquidate all of his assets, including his LLC. So who knows? I didn't look into it that much because this thing didn't really say, like, the Louisiana sites will tell you who posted the bond. These screenshots unfortunately do not. But before we get into the meat of it, I wanted to talk about what happened here. So why did he end up back in jail? He ended up back in jail because he violated a DVRO. DVRO is a type of restraining order, pretty much running parallel as a typical restraining order. The only difference here is that it's specially, has special oversight and ensuring the welfare of victims of domestic violence. So it's pretty, clear cut on what constitutes abuse in the state of Louisiana. I pulled up womenslaw.org. What is legal definition of domestic abuse in Louisiana? This section defines domestic violence abuse for the purposes of getting a protective order. Domestic abuse includes, but is not limited to, one or more of the following acts between family members, household members, or dating partners. 1. Physical abuse. 2. Sexual abuse. 3. Stalking or cyberstalking. 4. Abuse of an adult that is committed by an adult child against his or her parent, or an adult grandchild against his or her grandparent. In this context, abuse can include physical or mental injury, sexual abuse, abandonment, isolation, exploitation, or extortion of funds or other things of value. Any other crime, in parentheses, offense, in Louisiana, whether it's physical or non-physical, which you can access on the Louisiana legislature website. However, negligent injury and defamation are not considered to be an offense for these purposes. it's really unclear. I guess it would be beyond the 21 days, so the victim probably would have had to have obtained a long-term protective order. And this here, negligent injury and defamation are not considered to be an offense for these purposes. I think a lot of people were postulating that this video
It's been buried in snow. Yes,
could have partly gotten him in trouble. I've talked about this on my own channel. I'll probably link the video in the description. But this is a 5-minute video of like a 37-year-old man arrogantly gloating about having employed black magic to bring unpredictable and unprecedented amounts of snow to New Orleans. Not only that, but it would also seem that he implies that a DA basically committed suicide upon him stepping foot in the state of Louisiana. So it would seem that it was kind of a petty jab, and I kind of took it as like pretty sick manipulation on his part to keep his victim down. It's kind of gross, honestly. I'm not sure if anything could really be used. Like maybe if they did have that restraining order.
Over and over again to New Orleans. It's just a coincidence. It's never a coincidence when you're talking to your god or your spirit or guide or whatever. But when I do it,
it's my headphones really quick.
Total coincidence. I've been experimenting with chaos magic, and I believe that I figured out how to actually utilize it properly. But again, I'm just superstitious and delusional. If I were praying to your god, that would be totally true. Everyone else's spiritual beliefs are bullshit. So when I experiment with chaos magic and this sort of thing, your god can save you from disease, save you in battle, save your soul, actually. And not one of the counterfeiters, not one of the bullshitters that... Funny, yeah. And people think that I'm full of shit, yes. But then they'll make a video about, how time of year and it's 20 degrees with a huge amount of snow on the ground. Ain't nobody doing a goddamn into these crystals. And so I decided to lash out a little bit, and I had a good time of it. The government and the business owners there may not be very happy because nobody's going to go to the goddamn business when there's fucking 6 inches of snow on the ground, when they're not used to snow. When they're used to 50, 60 degree temperatures this time of year and it's 20 degrees with a huge amount of snow on the ground, ain't nobody doing a goddamn thing. And so I decided it's lockdown time. It's going to be funny, yeah. And people think that I'm full of shit, yes. But then they'll make a video about, how they prayed to God and all of a sudden their cancer was cured or something like that. Inexplicable. But yeah, had a great time. I'm sure that the kids down there are McLovin' it. Oh, right now they must be still having like massive ass snowball fights and stuff like that. So in a way, it's not really black magic. I mean, it is, but it has the side effect of being very positive. People are having fun. They get to go have snowball fights and take a day off from work because they're like, hey, boss, I'm sorry, but the road is impassable. I don't have snow tires. So yeah, you're welcome, people in New Orleans and other parts of southern Louisiana. I gave you a gift, and it just happens to be self-beneficial. That's about all. Peace out.
Yeah, so that was basically him going off the rails. I made fun of this video when it was more relevant, but basically I was saying like, this is like what happens when you play with black magic too much. You lose your mind to forces you can't comprehend, and you basically become insane and go through insane spiritual psychosis. So there's like multiple levels why that's so fucked up to me, because it's like, one, he's obviously trying to manipulate this poor victim. Two, he's saying that, well, you could just judge it on the basis that this guy literally thinks he's influencing weather patterns. But in addition to that, the DA, committing suicide and all of that stuff aside, you think if you would have these great powers, you would also, kind of issue great responsibility to them. So the fact that alone that you would cast spells to totally alter the weather cycle of a region for a little bit, or cause someone to end their own life if it was like truly, truly unjustified and just out of left field. I mean, it tells us a lot about what you would do with power. It tells us a lot about how you probably act when you are feeling that you're in a position of power. It's a very telling thing. It's very creepy to me. This guy has just lost his fucking mind over the years. But anyways, on the 24th of March, he got locked up again because he had to have violated this DVRO in some fashion. And basically, what that means is he would have either had to have contact with the person, um, either stalk the person, more than likely, um, or possibly there could have been like a regimented random drug test thing as a result of this. We know a while back he was saying he was planning on beating these charges. I don't know if he really even has the leverage to do that. We haven't really heard a lot of updates. So it must have just ended with the restraining order and that got broken. Um, but I would think now that he's in the system, if the authorities are more aware of like his content, I think it is a little concerning that we're releasing a person that thinks he can control the weather patterns with his brain. I'm gonna call it, man. Like, this guy's kind of just seems like, I don't know. Like, I think we should keep an eye on him because he just, something doesn't sit right with me. Um, I also pulled this up. Um, but this is basically just Louisiana code for domestic abuse battery. Kind of outlines like sentencing guidelines and whatnot. But it just kind of seems like he got bailed out after like a few days, the initial time, and then just got went back home. But yeah, that guy went back to jail, and I'll link this thread from the start. You guys can read it for yourself. It's quite a legendary read. A lot of keeping up to do. So if you're trying to start from the beginning, good fucking luck. But yeah, that's from 2016. That was the first entry. But it kind of revealed a lot. I had already hopped off the bandwagon of this guy in like 2016, 2015. I found this a little bit later, like a few years later. I kind of been just keeping up with it because I thought something was weird ever since. I went to search him up again to see if he's ever like debated any of these like ideological foes of him, and just to see like how he came to the whole Destiny debate. I just, I didn't necessarily agree with him, but I still, I guess, held him in like somewhat of a high position in my mind. Like, he's horribly wrong, but intelligent at the same time. Then just seeing his performance that night was like, wow, bro, like he doesn't even give a fuck. And it's sad, it's really sad because, I did watch this guy for many years. I remember when this guy was a liberal and like, oh, go ahead. Like if you hate him, there's like a video on his account called Wealth Inequality and Political Stupidity in America, and it's like a far cry from what he is today. Maybe we should have, said something when we saw like the Holocaust denial videos. Maybe we should have said something when we saw his politics shifting a lot. I don't know, but this is where we are now. It's sad to me because it's just like wasted potential. I think that's just kind of what I get from it. But now he's just like a pretty shitty guy. So that's just my own personal opinion. I'm just talking about it the way I see it. And that's that. Peace out.